Welcome to DLA Hour, a platform for meaningful conversations where leadership ideas connect with the people. It's a space where representatives of the Democratic Leadership Alliance speak directly with citizens, explain their policies, address national issues, and of course, share their plans for a better future. On DLA Hour, the conversation goes beyond politics, of course. We focus on vision, accountability, and practical steps towards responsible governance and national progress. My name is Omotola Adeleke. I also have Esther Ondoma here with me. Esther, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Don't forget to follow, like, share, and subscribe to DLA Nigeria on all social media platforms. Today, we are excited. We are glad to have with us Mr. Abdulmajid Musa. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, and I'm happy to be here with you today.
All right, Mr. Abdulmajid Musa is the KEBBI State Interim State Youth Mobilizer of the Democratic Leadership Alliance. Across Nigeria, young people are no longer just voters. They are organizers, innovators, digital activists, and voices demanding accountability. From social media movements to grassroots mobilization, the youth are redefining how politics is played and who holds power. But the big question is, are young people truly influencing political decisions, or are they still being sidelined by the old political order? And once again, Mr. Musa, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Of course, we know grassroots and youth mobilization is an integral part of, every political party's activity.
That's true.
Yeah. So what is the DLA doing so far with regards to grassroots and youth mobilization?
All right. When we talk about grassroots mobilization, the first thing is to actually know why you are doing what you are doing. Because for you to actually mobilize one or two people, you need to know what you are doing. And that's just that strength, that idea that you have, that is what you are going to inject into others. So DLA actually play a better role far than other parties, if I may say, actually. Because coming up with the learning platforms, you understand. So basically, is to strengthen the way the youth of Nigeria see politics. And if we are saying this, the youth of Nigeria right now, they are not just focusing on just the political aspect of things. They yearn for good governance, they yearn for transparency and all that. And plus the insecurity and all that, everybody is interested on a change of a life-saving chance to actually do things the better way around. And with this, we will actually go into grassroots to actually tell them this is another way, a better way rather, of doing things, and to strengthen our political ambition so that youth may begin to see the chances in coming out for leadership.
Have you started any form of grassroots and youth mobilization so far, or is it still something that you still want to do? Is it something that is still in the future to do, or is it something that you're actually doing already?
No. Like we all said, once you are in the game and you know why you are doing that game, you should have you're focused. We are already mobilizing grassroots, even down to the state level. Actually, we began to have members, and it's a good one that we have a platform that everyone can actually register. So as we mobilize people, telling them what DLA is all about here and then, and we also have that opportunity that DLA is already online, so people can access DLA, get to know more. So people do get our online platform during their visit to the DLA site. So it's a good one that we interact with new people here and then. So that one, I have to say, we are up and doing, and we have a good formation of that grassroots mobilization.
Oh, okay. Speaking of the grassroots mobilization, as a youth mobilizer, what strategies has been proven to be more effective in engaging youth in political activities?
All right. As young people, we all know, all of us devoted our time into social media and being online, let me just say platforms. So we actually find more people, find more time to mobilize online on social media platforms.
So you drag them from the social media platforms,
yes,
not the physical
No,
mobilization.
the physical mobilization, we have representative at every corner. Each ward we have our representatives. So that one being online is to actually attract more people for more mobilization. So we have the physical interaction one-on-one. Sometimes we have group meetings. You understand me? There are these what we call support groups. You understand? So we have local support groups. We discuss about DLA here and then, and any kind of school gathering, also universities. We also have that chance to actually talk about DLA. Like I'm saying, the most amazing thing is that DLA is not just straight about politics. You understand? There's shaping future of our young ones coming, the e-line stuff, the learning. So it's easier to actually advertise DLA out there. Thank you.
You know, you just talked about, you tell them about DLA.
Yeah.
And I'm yet to actually understand what you tell them about DLA. So what ideologies are you selling to the young people out there? Because it's not just going online and saying DLA and I just want to join DLA. You understand? There must be something that would want to convince an individual or a young person to want to join the Democratic Leadership Alliance. So aside, you know, the whole online concept and social media and all that, what ideologies, what is that mental idea that you give young people out there to encourage them and, of course, convince them to be a member of your party?
All right, that's a good one. And if we look at the aims and objective of the DLA, there is one that actually stands for me, and wherever I find myself, actually tell them this strong aim. So it's, let me just read it out.
Okay.
To promote ethical, people-driven leadership through structured training, mentorship, and civic education. So this, one of the aim that is actually, that speaks out for me, and I'm happy to use it to explain to every individual that I met, let me just say, and with our structure down to what. So there are things that are not just there in other political parties, and DLA is bringing just like a new, what am I going to say, evolution or something else like that. There are so much more in the aims and objectives that if you actually tell people about those aims and objectives, they will know that DLA means very well for Nigerian citizens.
Okay, so what are those challenges you face when advocating for youth inclusion for the DLA?
All right. As we all know, when something is new, there is this kind of battle that someone needs to face, actually. If not that I am a young person, it's going to be very hard for me to actually penetrate, because, you know, in a community, in almost of the community in Nigeria, like the leaders there, they are like 50s, 60s going. So it is very hard for them to actually accommodate new ideas. You understand? They go back to their forefathers, the way they inherit their own politics, lifestyle, like all of those things. So, but being in the generation, like the young people coming up, you understand, and me having that same age scenario with them, it actually helps. But when we are trying to convince the elderly ones, actually, it takes us time and a lot of strength to actually convince them that, okay, this is the new way of doing things, this is the lifestyle, this to yearn for actually a good governance. There is room for you to fight for your rights, you understand? So all of those things for young people, it is easier to understand. But for elderly ones, you find it very hard for them to actually accept based on this one-party system that we are all in. That's the APC, the recently and all that.
So you think we are in the one-party system already?
Yes, because that's the way they see it out there. We are here to change it. We are here to change it, to give them hope and to know that there is a party that will actually stand by them, that will actually work with them to succeed, give them the guidance, not just for them to come out to be a leader. No, the ways to carry them along, to give them the leadership style and how to govern a government or something else like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've done my research, and I've noticed, I went to your website, have seen different individuals who are members of the Democratic Leadership Alliance, and I've noticed that most of you are young people. But now, let's synchronize that with the kind of young people we have these days. We see young people, most times they're on their phones, claiming activists on phones, and they don't even come out to do the real thing. They don't come out to want to participate in governance. A lot of people are just behind their phones doing everything they feel they can do. Perhaps they don't even know they have the capacity to do more than just the social media activism. I wouldn't want to call it protest.
Yes.
But it's somewhat like that. Most of our young people are just behind the scene. So do you think our youths are ready? Do you think the young people are actually ready to dominate power, especially away from the old blocks that we have today?
All right. This is a very good one, and it might interest you to know that this question you've asked, even if you are going to ask it from now until the next generation, people that are ready are always born ready. So when we talk about youth and leadership, there are those that are ever ready. What is killing the majority right now to come out to actually say out, share their ideas on politics, on leadership, on governance? It is nothing but the situation the country finds itself. What I mean by that is the economic crisis we are all in. Lack of insecurity we are all in. So when we join these two factors together, it actually scares some youth to come out, speak their mind, even if they have good mindset. You understand? Like they have that capacity in them to actually show the youth. Because when we talk about youth, there are some youth that can accept the fact that one or two people in their community, they have the capacity, they have the strength to come out, and if they are out, they are sure, like they are 100% sure that those people that they identified in their community, they will actually deliver in any position they've been given. But these two things, that of the economic crisis, the insecurity, that fear that when I come out, we don't know what is going to happen to me next or something else like that. That is just what is stopping.
So you don't think it's as a result of negligence? You don't think a lot of our young people just want to relax and expect manna to just fall from the sky?
All right.
You don't think some of our youths, there was a president that said Nigerian youths are lazy. So you don't think it's as a result of Nigerian youths being lazy, being negligent, or not even interested in political activities and governance?
All right. I will give you a practical example right now. As we all are seated here, the three of us, then if by a chance someone should just walk in here with a bag full of dollars, willing to give one of us, whoever stand up among the three of us actually shows interest in collecting that bag. So he will have the higher chances of him being given that bag of dollars. So whatever it is that we think that the youth are lazy or something else like that, there must be few. You understand? What we need is just few people that can practically show the capacity that they are onto this and they will do it. The rest will actually automatically follow. So for me, it's just few people that we need that shows the capacity, come out here, we support them to the fullest. When they achieve it, people that thinks the reality is not close, they will begin to show themselves.
Okay.
Speaking of support, I'm sure the DLA would participate in the forthcoming elections. So what role can the youth play to be part of this election?
Youth has more role to play than any election so far. Because when we look at this, youth, they are not just meant for voting. They are also part of leadership. It is their responsibility to carry. When we have been hearing this rather, that the youth are the future of tomorrow. So it is only fair that the youth partake in shaping this tomorrow of ours. So they have more responsibilities to actually play, not just by voting. They should actually find those youths among them that has more capacity to actually drive the youth and to make sense of all these political ambitions forward. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Musa, thank you very much. Right now, we need to go on a short break. And of course, when we return, we still have more questions for the KEBBI State Interim Youth Mobilizer or the Democratic Leadership Alliance. Of course, we will be right back. Stay tuned.
Nigeria is rich in land, people, culture, and promise. Yet millions still struggle to live with dignity. This is not poverty by destiny. It is failure by leadership. Why does leadership keep failing the people? Leadership failed because values were abandoned: justice, integrity, and service. What if leadership was ethical, accountable, and people-centered? The Democratic Leadership Alliance was born, not for power, but for purpose. In DLA, leadership is trained, earned, and accountable. An economy driven by science, productivity, and opportunity for all, not a few. This fuels fair security through justice, intelligence, and community trust. This is not a party of elites. It is a movement of citizens. The Democratic Leadership Alliance is not asking for your vote alone. It is asking for your voice, your courage, and your belief in a better Nigeria.
DLA.
All right, welcome back. And of course, don't forget, it's still DLA Hour. And we're still here with our guest in the studio, Mr. Abdulmajid Musa. Mr. Abdulmajid, I would want to ask you this question quickly before we move on to some other conversations, of course. Now, there are some few individuals who are already in politics like yourself. Some young people who are into politics already.
Yeah.
Some have been there for a very long time. Some have been there for a while. Of course, they're still young people. So can you highlight to us some of those mistakes some of those young people are making in our political system? Because if they're not making mistakes, perhaps we should see more young people, coming out as leaders in Nigeria. But I want to assume that there are some few mistakes that are still being made by young people.
All right. I'm going to start by revealing the most important one, if I have to say. As a young person who is aspiring to be a leader, he has to develop a good quality of a leader. So we are forgotten something. In 3 years' time or 4 years' time, whatever the ambition range, the timing might be, you should groom yourself. Watch how you do your social media activities. People are watching. What kind of things do you post online? What kind of places you visit, you showcase online? So we should learn how to avoid all those media. Sometimes they're not even conspiracy, right? They are not even, because they are truth, actually. And let's just say you did all of those things just to catch fun, mix out with friends, and all of those things. They are not the real you. It doesn't define you.
Maybe they're giving too much attention to frivolities on social media.
Yes. So if you make those kind of mistakes, actually, the young people that are at the opposition party, the elderly people will start to use those things that you've been posting for years online against you. And you yourself, even if you are to judge yourself, you know that those characters are not meant for public consumption. So one of the things that youth should actually keep, especially when they are going out there to show the capacity of them being a leader, is to avoid showing characters that are not okay out there in the media. Because media is the strength of all politics. When we talk about youth cannot go without media, they go hand in hand. The second thing that I can say, they are one of the mistakes that the young people make in politics. This is coming from the experience I'm having as a leader also. If you met someone in a certain position that you believe he's not doing well, so don't just assume that you know it all, that you are going to do far better than that person. Going to an extent, accusing him, calling him names, this, no, then you actually draw attention more to yourself. By the end of the day, you find yourself in that seat or that same person's shoes. Now you are the governor or now you are the minister, whatever position that you are yearning to get, you've gotten it. So make sure that you are ready for those names that you call people out there, that they are going to call you back and it is going to cause some distraction to your seat. So my advice that will go hand in hand with you not doing that action. There is no problem on the other side, whoever is leading, whoever is in that position. You don't care about what he or she is doing. Don't call him names. All you are after is that you have a better chance, you have a better idea to run it far better than that person. That is just the difference you're having. So let's not bring conflict of interest that will actually bring war, whatever it is, respected of whoever is on that seat, from whichever party is coming on board, but just know that you have that training. You understand? You have that mindset that you are coming for peace. You don't want any trouble. You just want to show your idea. You just want to show that you have a better way of doing things than him. Okay. So with that, actually, it will help the youth to go a long way.
Okay, yeah. So Mr. Abdulmajid, what do you think a youth-driven political party or political system should look like? Are there certain things it should actually look like from your own perspective?
All right. When we talk about youth-driven, we should also think about the youth are being guided right from day one, coming till date. It's not going to be, when I think about youth-driven, I didn't see it as a way of, let's just say, from point 1 to point 10, A to Z is all about youth. Actually, if we, and on this generation, if we are going to be fair enough to each other, if we are going to say from point 1 to point Z, it's just going to be youth, there is also going to be an issue.
I actually wanted to even ask you that, are you not going to scare the older generation away if you're saying it's youth-driven?
Yeah, okay.
But I understand when they say youth-driven. Anyways,
yes.
That doesn't actually mean it's going to be all youth and all that. But that might scare, some of those, old people. I wouldn't even want to say old. In fact, what's the age bracket? If you want to term someone a youth, what do you think is the age bracket to be called a youth?
We can start from 40 downward.
40 that's
yes.
So someone who is 50, that person is not a youth.
Yeah, that person is not considered to be youth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you vote for someone who is 30 years old, to be the president of the country? You know why I asked this question?
Yeah,
I asked because of the other question I asked you. Do you think our young people are ready? We talked about social media distractions. We talked about some of the mistakes some of them have been making so far. He's also talked about how they show themselves on social media.
Yeah.
Now, if a 30-year-old president comes out and say he wants to be the president, even in the Democratic Leadership Alliance, would you support such an individual?
Okay, speaking for myself, actually, if that 30-year-old person comes out to run for presidential candidate, I will actually look from where he is coming. What is it that he or she have done in the past, no matter what, even right from your school, secondary school, university, like what are your behaviors? What are your achievements? You understand? What are your principles? You need to have something that showcase your ideas. So using that for let's just say you hold on to it, that yes, I trust that 30-year-old person to do more. We need to actually look into his records, actually. If he has that record and I'm good with it, I will actually go for that person.
Okay. Talking about what Esther asked you, still talking about DLA party probably being youth-driven. Because I would want clarity. As a DLA member that you are you saying the majority of the DLA members are going to be youths or are youths already? And we have just few of them who are above 40, like you defined youth.
All right, I wanted to explain that when you took
I
on.
noticed.
Yeah, so the thing is that when we talk about youth-driven, up till today, there are people of 70 year, 80, 60. They still like the idea of youth coming out to be in politics. They still have that idea of inclusion. So those kind of people, together with the youth, they are what we see as youth-driven. So even if you are not youth, but you support the idea of the inclusion of youth, you are part and very important person of DLE.
Okay, so what advice would you give to youth out there?
All right. Advice to my fellow youth is to actually prepare themselves if they are not prepared yet. To come out, speak up their mind, if not for themselves, for the people who they think they are ready. And they can actually do more in governance, in helping to change the future of Nigeria. So the most important thing is take a step, no matter what. You should just learn to take a step, not just for you to have idea, but you sit down in the groups, then say, no, whatever we say here, it might not be even considerate. So come out here. We have seen so many instances that, okay, this online social media actually helps solve many solutions. It solves solutions. So now that you have a platform that you call your own, mostly it is the youth that actually use the social media platform. You know that it's very active and efficient. So why don't you use that as a way to secure your own votes? Let's have your own votes out there. I think with that kind of mindset, the youth will do better.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Abdulmajid Musa. We appreciate you coming over to the studio and to have this conversation with us. We appreciate you, sir.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't forget, Mr. Abdulmajid Musa is KEBBI State Interim State Youth Mobilizer of the Democratic Leadership Alliance. Don't forget to follow, like, share, drop your comment, and also subscribe to DLA Nigeria on all social media platforms. Esther, thank you very much for what you do best.
Thank you.
All right, my name is Omotola Adeleke. Do well to join us on the next episode of DLA Hour. Enjoy.